and welcome to Let's Travel, the podcast. I'm very happy to have Jeff Napshin today. Jeff is the owner and founder of Star Trek Tours, a tour company in Hollywood, right on the boulevard, that offers star trekking tours in Hollywood, the Hollywood Hills, Beverly Hills, various formats he will talk about. And what we all know here in the industry is that he has the newest vehicles and he has wonderful enhanced video to illustrate the locations they're talking about. So he's taking you inside visually. It's a really enhanced experience, basically comparing like a tour like AM radio, the old style, to satellite streaming. It's just a really exciting format that is really interesting and up and running and very successful, already booking out. So find the links down below or in the description of the podcast and have a lot of good times in Hollywood. And now, really happy to welcome Jeff to my podcast. So thank you very much for joining me. Hello, Jeff.
Hi there.
Hi there. So such a pleasure to have you, and I'm so excited to hear that Star Trek Tours is up and running and operational. Tell me a bit about its spring 2021. What is the situation for you in Hollywood right now?
Well, we are incredibly excited. We are expecting a boom. It's just been this trajectory that keeps going up. And I'll tell you how much it changed. In January and February, things were awful. We actually were working 2 days a week, maybe 3 days a week, which is unprecedented. We just shut down. It was so bad. And then starting in March, it just began to pick up dramatically. And since then, it's been nonstop. Our business is way up. Part of that's because we have fewer competitors, and part of it's because we have a great product, and part of it's because people want to get out there and do stuff. And it's been a great spring, and we think this summer is going to be crazy.
Who are your customers right now? There's still travel restrictions on the international level. So
Yeah.
who's coming?
So it's interesting. Like I said, we're literally busier at this time of year. May is, I was surprised. I went back and checked, but May is kind of a slow month. The reason is it's spring break's done. It's before Memorial Day, and a lot of people aren't looking to vacation. But we have been just as busy pretty much as we were in April during spring break. It's been terrific. The people we get are different than we've had before. We used to have a real collection, a real diversity, international and domestic. Maybe 40% foreign, 60% domestic. The foreign would be folks from Australia and China and England and parts of Europe. And that literally has stopped. In fact, now when we get someone who is European, I usually have to stop and say, "Are you sure you're supposed to be here?" Because we don't see it. So it's been replaced by domestic travelers. Many of them are Californians, but a lot of people from other states, areas like Texas and Florida, a lot of people from Michigan. Maybe it's because of the weather, but other parts of the country that have been coming here, all domestic, and they are excited to get out and have some fun.
Um, Star Trek Tours specializes in star trekking, and
Hmm.
we
Some
all
people
know
get
it.
that confused. I had someone call the other day and said, "Are you about Star Trek?" I go, "No, we'd get in trouble if we were doing that. No, we're actually tracking the stars," and that's kind of the play on words.
Yeah, uh, and as we know in the industry, there are not so reliable operators out there. You come highly recommended by all the destination management companies and the agencies that are working with Hollywood tours because your tour is very serious. Could you tell me a bit about the tours you have and how you built this company? And because you're dependable, you're not just saying this is Milton Berle's house back in 1935. It's
Yeah.
actually homes that are relevant to our visitors now. So how did you do that?
Well, I will tell you this much. We take what we do seriously. We take it seriously. We are not serious in the operation of the business. We try to have fun and put on a show. It's entertainment. Unlike the Academy Awards the other day, this is actually entertainment. And we want people to have a good time and not feel like, 'cause I've been on tours. When I was trained with a guy who literally said, "Over here is Tom Cruise. Over here is Jennifer Lopez." And I was like, "What the hell?" And so we wanted to do it in more of a fun way. And so we built a tour that has fun, that tries to be entertaining. And a lot of that comes, first of all, from tour guides who are from the industry, who are entertainers themselves and are fun and personable and people you'd like to have a drink with. And so that has a lot to do with it. But something else we did that I won't say we pioneered, because that would be a lie. I was inspired by TMZ, which appears to no longer be around. They seem to have collapsed. But TMZ did a tour that was very goofy, over the top. TMZ. What they did that inspired me was they incorporated video, and nobody else was doing that. My background is actually in television and in video. I thought, well, if I can develop the system, the software part, I can do. I got the idea of creating videos. I can voice it. I just need someone to help edit it. And so we put together what is still today the only real video tour in Hollywood. And so what that means is throughout the tour, and because of some of the creative people I work with, we've added to it over the years. So we started off by creating videos that would further illustrate where we're going. If it was a famous location, it would take you inside and tell you the story much better than I could just saying, look over here. I would introduce what the video is, and then for a minute, you actually would see inside places like the famous hotel, the Chateau Marmont, or we went by Michael Jackson's house where he died. Instead of just saying Michael Jackson died here, which is powerful, you're now seeing a video that takes you to that day. We have the 911 call, and it brings to life what happened while playing Michael Jackson music as well. So it's a professional grade video that makes it really interesting. But what we even added beyond that the last couple of years, thanks to some of the people I work with, it was created something even better called hot sets. And so there are a number of places we go to in Hollywood where they film movies. And again, in the past on other tours, they would point and say, this is where they filmed Back to the Future. Or this is where they filmed one of the Lethal Weapon movies. Well, if you saw those movies, you remember them. But many of those are so long ago now, anybody under 20 or 25 has no idea what you're talking about. So we created videos that are actual clips from the movie. So when I mentioned Back to the Future, we're talking about a church in Hollywood that people may not realize, but the church, on the back side of the church in the gym, is where they filmed a famous scene in the original Back to the Future. It was the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, a key scene in the movie where the parents kiss, fall in love, and that allows Michael J. Fox to go back to the future. That's also where he theoretically invents rock and roll if you watch the movie. But that was actually filmed at the church, and we play the scene from the movie. The Lethal Weapon house is a real house in the Hollywood Hills. And in the movie Lethal Weapon 2, it's a famous scene where the house gets ripped off the cliff. It's on stilts. You see it collapse. Mel Gibson destroys it as part of being the good guy in the movie. But no one other tour has ever shown the clip. And so most people don't know what the hell's going on. But we actually have the clip in full audio. And you have this 30-second clip. Again, it's not long, but 30 seconds where it's the actual clip of the house being destroyed right after you've seen it. And people are like, oh my God, that's it. And they get really excited. So, it's funny. We do the outline of the tour we do is similar to most tours. They all go to Hollywood and Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive, but we offer so much more value. Honestly, I think it's literally twice the tour of any other tour in Hollywood.
So, as we call it, it's a very enhanced product. It's an
It
enhanced
is it
experience.
is really off the charts. There is nothing like it. I'm telling you, people get so much more for their money. It's amazing they would do another tour where you don't have this. I mean, people want video nowadays because you don't remember everything. You want to see how it actually happened, what happened 20 years ago. You don't remember 30 years ago, and we've included that, and it makes it much more relevant.
And you have different tours. Which one is your top selling one? What's the most popular, most in
Well,
demand?
we do day tours, we do night tours, and private tours. Those are the main ones. We also have a walking tour that we like the idea, but it hasn't really taken off the way we hope. So we're debating what to do with that. But the day tour is the most popular. That's during the daytime, and that's a 2-hour tour of Hollywood and Beverly Hills, and it just tends to fit most people's schedule. And let's be honest, it's daytime, so you see more. The nighttime tour is actually a really cool tour. When the weather's nice, like right now, especially, it is a blast. The nighttime tour usually runs around 7 o'clock. They go later as well. In the summertime, it starts off as daytime and then becomes night. In the wintertime, it's a pure night tour. And the reason it is a cool tour is that you see a whole different look of LA. We go into the Hollywood Hills and you'll see all of LA down below at night, 2,000 feet in the air lit up. And it is one of the most stunning views, literally in America, to see 18 million people lit up down below. When we go to Rodeo Drive, a lot of people don't realize this, but Rodeo Drive is not just lit up in the stores at night, but a couple of years ago for Christmas, Rodeo Drive knows how to do things. They put up lights on all the trees, the palm trees. And they had the brilliant notion, which I wish they would do in Hollywood. They said, you know what? It looks so good. We're going to keep some of the lights up year round. And so these white lights that look like diamonds light up the palm trees, and they stay light all year round, which basically means when we go to Beverly Hills uh, all year, but especially at night at Christmas time or in the wintertime, it looks like Christmas. Even if it's in April, it looks like Christmas because it's all lit up. And that makes the night tour a really cool tour. And the private tour, which has actually become very popular during COVID, is a tour where it's just your group. We give a very fair price. It's 2 to 3 hours, just your group, and you have that extra safety and security, and you get to go where you want. And it makes it a really good and successful tour as well.
Talking about COVID, what's the capacity per tour, and how do you keep people safe?
So we make it as safe as possible. I think the big safety, to be honest with you, comes from Mother Nature. The vehicles hold about 13 people. We have kept it at that limit. So many of the tours do go 13, which is why we offer that private tour. But the COVID part, it's outdoors. It's open air. The vehicles are not enclosed. There's a roof on top, and the sides are fully open. So when you're driving, you've got a 15 or 20-mile-an-hour breeze, and it disperses anything coming out of your mouth. We keep people with masks on, of course, at least as of right now, and things may change. But it disperses the breath coming out of people. It's a breeze all the time. And I can tell you and proudly say that nobody in the 1 year we've been up and running now, or maybe 11 months, nobody has come back to me, and I assure you they would have, and said, we got COVID on your tour. Nobody's done that. All of our drivers have been safe. Nobody's gotten sick. And that's because, again, we're outdoors, we're in the sunlight, and we're open air. We do take the precaution of having, like I said, masks. We try to clean the vehicle as much as possible, but they've now reported that it really is mostly airborne. And that's better for us because we are a fully outside experience, and it truly makes it safe. Now, I will tell you, you know, most people are excited to be on the tour. They're happy about that. Every now and then, and I understand it, but we advertise very openly. Every now and then we get someone who gets on and they're like, "Well, I don't feel comfortable. There are 12 people on here." And we try to, explain, this is legal, it's allowed, and this is how we're operating. We do give a refund if needed. But most people are excited, they're happy, and they feel fully safe on the tour we offer.
Uh, Hollywood, you mentioned TMZ may no longer be around. Hollywood was severely affected. We saw some really sad images on local news a few months ago,
It
last
was it
summer.
was even worse.
Yeah.
Even worse than the images. Yes.
So you're part of the Chamber of Commerce. What is the situation, and how is Hollywood reacting as a destination?
Well, I'm not sure about an organized effort. I know there have been some campaigns by the California Department of Tourism and the city of Los Angeles. I'm not sure particularly what's being aimed at Hollywood, but it's just kind of a natural return. We literally were there the whole time. I mean, we were there when we maybe we shouldn't have been. I mean, I didn't realize, but December and early January was as bad as it gets, and we had a terrible Christmas, which I guess people realized it was pretty bad. We were operating, but it was pretty rough. But things have gradually come back. The businesses have just kind of popped in. A lot of that's related to the rules that the city allows, but gradually you would see the museums starting to reopen. I'll give you the greatest symbol of how this last year went. There is a McDonald's on Hollywood Boulevard, closed in March. It didn't reopen until I think the beginning of April. It was literally closed for 11 months. Now they could have stayed open for to go orders, but they chose not to. And I couldn't believe it. McDonald's was closed for almost a year, almost a full year, but they reopened. And that's an example of things coming back. Most of the tours are there, except for the ones that shut down for good. Several did shut down for good. Um, and most of the other businesses have come back as well. So things have definitely returned to life. I would say for the places that want to come back, probably 90% or more have now come back. Maybe a few are still waiting, but will probably come back soon.
Wonderful. So Hollywood this summer will be a great destination. Where do people reach you?
We are at StarTrekTours.com. We're on different websites like TripAdvisor. You can see us on our website as well, other places. I will tell you that we are doing our own campaign. I'll tell you a funny story. Happened yesterday. We want to spruce up our website. We want to add. We want to show that we're video, that we really incorporate video. And so instead of just having still pictures on the website and on Facebook and places like that, we are now going to be incorporating video. So yesterday, we did something that we don't believe any tour in Hollywood or Los Angeles has done. They're starting to go that way, but no one's done it. We don't think. And that is, we rented an aerial drone and we filmed with a special group of people filling a tour for 3 hours. We filmed our vehicle all over the area: Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, or Sunset Strip, places like that, to show not just the vehicle, but the vehicle in action that we can then put on our website. You'll see in a couple weeks, other places as well. Funny story though, the aerial drone, which we rented, somebody provided it, but we rented. We were a third of the way through the shoot. We were filming in Hollywood. Everything was looking great. I mean, phenomenal shots driving down Hollywood Boulevard. And the operator took the drone a little too low. I'm out on the street trying to organize things, and I hear a thud. I look up. The drone hit a palm tree leaf, and of course, the drones are pretty vulnerable. Literally drops 3 feet from me, almost hit me. Drops on the ground and smashes. So the drone, fortunately, it's covered by insurance, but
Yeah.
drone went down. We
Yeah.
ended up getting the rest of the video, being creative, and we actually turned out really good without the drone in Beverly Hills. But
Mm.
the first part, we did get the drone, but it crashed and died and made for a very memorable day.
Yeah. And that's part of being in Hollywood.
That's part of life. You know, you gotta, you never know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much for the conversation. I can't wait to do your tour. All the links will be in the description of the podcast. So look below if you're looking on YouTube. Check out the description if you're listening to the podcast. Thank you so very much for joining me, Jeff. And I
You're
look forward
welcome.
to
We're,
speaking to
we're
you soon.
thrilled to have you come join us in Hollywood. It's going to be an amazing summer. It's already 80 degrees and sunny. Come visit LA, and we'd love to have you join us on Star Trek tours.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye. Bon voyage.